I begin to crave an audience I say, craving waves of raving audience. Wilt thou be my stranger tonight? Wilt thou be the witness to my misanthropic matrimony? For I wed myself this eve, and require a witness to take the stand, whom I know not, whose name is not known to me, face is not known to me, origin is unknown to me. Wilt thou be the witness to take the stand and judge me? My perfect stranger, my audience art thou. You know me not, and yet it is thee, and thee alone I have summoned to stand before me this very day. My name is not begot, for ne'er was I born, and unforeseen is my end. A bard without origin, without skull, not of father nor of mother do I bleed, but in veins that seek with a golden ore, seeking me and mine, seeking me and my blood. A bard without origin, without skull, lacking even Yorick as a friend fellow, or Wiggledy Digit's demonologic troop, for even death is unknown to me. How now can the bardess of unknown origin and unforeseen end have any to say, have any to play worth paying for? I know nothing, hence I have access to everything, and by dint of being a fool am I ordained to proffer thee this gift this night, a riddle without rhyme or reason. And P.S. we all know that Yorick was really too busy having his picture taken with every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be with us this night. Why is there such a fetish with death? Why is it memorable? The masses means chanting I have survived, when the wick by which the weather of our lives is judged is but an outdated trick of hindsight, held in a gloved hand whose disguise is heroism. I bring you not the meat of the masses upon which to feast this night. I bring you instead the fecund O, the riddle of the fool, empty round digit, whole to infinity, for it is through the hoop of zero that I have come to appear to you, though my appearance be not unlike all else but an illusion, a peculiarity of speculation, an optic oddity, an anomaly of thine own eye. The witch's hymn, the pagan psalter, the holler of heathens on the moor. This is not for minds of reason. Between her flamed, ashamed cheeks, it is the orality of the oracle, fuming Pythic crevice, the votaress of the whole, the voice of the orifice through the ninth direction comes. Thighs that growl, necks that crawl, navels that sing, serpents that cry their sting through my high heart, lions that growl through my loins, intensity that deafens, wrists that scream. Unabashedly I bash my head against the pandemic drum of euphoria, where beast, man, and God commune in sanguine sanctity, in a temple aroused by the tempest of falling veils. The gnarled teeth of my gnashing wits, crunching the fiber optic threads of my dream like demons affrighted in a plague of doubts. Can you see the half-moon of my innocence darkly, in the loin-gripping antlered rush to nowheres where this windswept wash of infinity bathed over me? And upon my horn, I sound an alarm of celebration. No more circus in the wayward barn folk look over my shoulder, and I shudder brightly, September's child. Under the screen of my diligent screaming, can you see the grass cage in the black light? Can you see the grass cage and the skirts made of hay? emancipation and the demolishment thereof. Seeming to be my dream, I rise. Seeming to be my bride, I notate to the pendulum no more. Do not call my number if for God's secretary you seek. The whore, deemeth thou not that the last is Satan? 'Tis Satan is the whore, power trapped in reason, power trapped in matter, mater dolorosa, the emblem of an eggshell, and the critique of a greedy new dawn. Fire ruby, come out of the cup into the ocean it holds. There is no way out, but in the ceasing of perception split the muse impervious to the miles of disaster. Set her free, said the battle at the mark of the ford, where inside out was topsy-turvy turned. One needs no liberation who is already free. Shout out the blood, muse incorruptible, in veins of golden ore, seeping liquid flame of molten pouring core. The laws of sentence, broken out the mold, from my seam of rupture's fusion at the cry for more, the wounds of war, sealed up upon itself as it opens from behind the petals of gore, seeming but not altruistic, seeming but not sublime, for more in sublime than seeming can see. The lust of sentiment prevails over flocks of ardor. Through strife relinquish I am the open door. Gone, gone. She is gone from seeming, breathing under your skin. Let melt the error of bondage that ever cast thy sense of sin. Stampede of the cloven-hooved, pelting the carpets of my sabotage. Self-quoted retribution melt in the inculpable glass sands. Rain in the glissando chords of my wonder, blameless, guiltless, birthless, deathless. An owl is the baker's daughter. The girl with the pretty high voice, la la la, condemned to forever be the wind-up doll of their mechanistic virtues, while I sing of birds and lie that it feigns me love. An owl is the baker's daughter, an owl is the baker's daughter. Tonight I shall leave the house of my father. When the curse comes upon me to turn me into an owl, I shall leave the house of my father and fly away. They wish to live forever. It shall not be by my blood. I fair bid thee gyrate to the muse, cuckold of cuckolding cuckold, rioting rufflery at the hem, forlorn beggars, catcall mayhem. And who shall cross the ford this muddy May eve? And who shall cross the ford? Panoramic predisposition leaves the salt shaker at dawn to shake hands with a loose knob. An owl is the baker's daughter, an owl is the baker's daughter, and I shall leave the house of my father before midnight strikes. Regrets orally consumed by the reflex of tight jaws, they pander to the solid waste of their own stone-faced decisions. To sell my wares as a debutante, I did not give him bread, I did not give him bread. Lo, though his fame was far and wide, they turned her into a feathered pelting night cry with talons. An owl is the baker's daughter, an owl is the baker's daughter, and I shall leave the house of my father before midnight strikes. matrimonial inquisition, blind to my benediction. Would happenstance claim true, I ne'er into the arms of freedom would fall. My lonely shepherd sovereign doth marry me this night. Traitor's truce unties my noose. Would my troth with treason outtake the washer at the ford, tossing out my lamp of reason, merrily marrying freedom, not the goat herd of slighting masses means. I shall not by force of fate climb a bridge that's built in hate, that my father's father should have a name I bid to break the chain. Eat the apple, fuck the core, I don't work for you no more. I am outrageous, unruly, rude. Why would I an unruly wooden ruler use to measure whittlesome wiles of woe, if by rumination a speck-sighted sigil should burp a rhyme that romps my fiddle? I am not a hindsight, hunted by the rum of your rack of ruminations, nor a foresight lanced by the launch of arrogant arrow, arrested in the breast of the bloody maiden who sings your sunken ship to sail. An owl is the baker's daughter, an owl is the baker's daughter, and I shall leave the house of my father before midnight strikes. The fool bows before you. The fool leaves you. The fool returns. My enemies displayed on a public floor. My friends arrayed in relic lore. The fool loves you. The fool mocks you. At liberty to dispose of heaven or hell. The fool wishes you well. The fool wishes you ill. The fool wishes neither, for never a fool did have a will with which to wish. None can usurp one who by none is one, and one rendered in oneness none. For nobody is what nobody can be. Nothing unfathomable can be understood by dint of tension, strife, nor power of anger's fuel, which keeps the dross and the drag and the dense pegged leg round wound the witch's school. Demystify the cunning hag, dive into the mystery she cannot nag, nor time nor season can by triumph snag that which is inimitably real. unpossessed, unhad, yet all you have. Arouse thyself! Sarcasm can only reach as far as irony's shores. Thus, thy fool, look beneath my words into the code betwixt my gourds. Thy fool a window becomes, by playing all in being none. Ah, swimming around, as are we all who call this fish bowl our home. You are like a gaudy prince in drunken rash, chafing round against the edges of the dream, while the queen of dreams lies back on her pillow, victim to the treasure who mulls around, collecting the heads of the slumbering. Is this what you wish? Then fornicate with the queen of dreams, for she is not I, and gladly shall I let you go. Brokerage of heads, 3 dreams of decapitation, and they go round beating them like drums, rhythms of the goddess Dis, pandering to the currency of order and chaos, while just this Christmas by the tree old Gall's eye lay gouged out by the maypole of last spring, last pole of May, pole, May, spring of last, rhythms of distortion thrown into the pulse of dysplasia, 3 dreams of decapitation, decapitation of 3 dreams, dreams 3 of decapitation, rhythms of disfiguration. And they go round beating them like drums. What makes you think that anything is solid? Why, perhaps the cauldron is just a pot of heads, interchangeable. Which mind do you wish to wear today? So good you are at acting. Make a wish, catch a fish, do you know how to drill a well? What are the measurements before you reach hell? Or have the bells heard you? Or have the bells wrung you dry? Ladies, oh ladies, where are your golden bells? Cracked and rusted beneath the sea of thee, in the boiling pot of steaming memories, where are your golden bells seething? Or are they covered in the rust of the maiden misery, when your mother's mother, in matronly comfort, assured you 'tis but a little pain, and then you learn to love him. I learned to love your father. Let me show you, says mother to daughter, how to love him. To swallow yourself and brace for the break of your spirit. Ladies, oh ladies, where are your golden bells? Cracked and rusted beneath the sea of thee. Where are they now, the bent and broken mothers? Let me show you how you rage inside the sea of me. And would I find myself a drip dropped through the dish of Circe into some erstwhile unwanted lover's palate? And would I find that the great blue sea into which the dragon swallowed me was just as fair as the dreams he hid in his lair? Unlikely that an unlucky pair did erstwhile fetch a pence for painting white the picket fence that sent the lands aloft in war. Thou would not find me there, but under the bridges where wenches' wares and widowed witches are hunted by the moon rider upon his black steed. He has no place for me. Yet there thou wouldst say to had seen me. Yet there, I say, was only a wisp of where I once had wandered, but never truly dawned. For places are but robes of seeming, and too much seeming is crime of the organized kind. Thy fair maiden escaped the chapel, once inmate to a gown of chaste abeyance. I slipped out the noose of the O, only to find it had all along been but by my toe that vision-stunted voice had swept a curse into my throat. Unlucky charms, prodigal in the melt of the preacher's daughter, eloping by widdershins with the stranger of her shire, the pale, thin void of not begot, the thin, lonely frame of ransom. As for the mire of Milo, handsome, wilt thou be my stranger? For I am half sick of friends strewn by the wayside, so much like parched, thrown away flowers, they remind me that I canst bear but to hide my eyes, lest I hear their petals gasp through slit throats, and find my ease the wayfare of a darker mead. The streets are swarming with freaks, which one shall come by next? I beckon you to dare to trample me, for your boot cannot step upon me, but through me, which opens wide into the sea, into which you cannot find but not begot me. I am the mistress of provocation, I answer to no one, hence all is my answer. What devious foolery has tripped my boot, that I wake to find a Scrooge as my bedfellow? My erstwhile misanthropic self, dreaming of me, he is. I am dreaming of me. I fell, only to wake in the arms of remembrance, that my exiled history, 'twas swept clean, be sent home by the last messenger pigeon, and upon the moment of extinction be lifted its burdensome memory into the trifling hatch. Myself am I pierced by the spear of reckoning. Take this cup from me, for it runneth over, yea, gladly doth it spill into thee. The muse within me stirs, and within her tempest my temple, and within the storm of my soul these words of peace. Oh, scent of flowers, oh, heady hawthorn blossom, oh, rose-decked bower, light as the breath of deity, uplifted I float on the perfume of the infinite. The curtain beckons to stroke my trespass, benediction upon gold-slated crowns, crying majesty to frisk upon the kirk of wave, anointment perfumes the old king's grave. O scent of waking floral day, I have flown through the strings of the weaver's heart, where muses 9 beguiled Merlin. Unconstrued, I conjured magical carpets that wove as I flew the songs of every place I desired. As I was spaceless, bathed in the hot hues, tapestry shuddered into airborne liquid fuse of soundless, soulful choirs, perpetual redeemers of heaven's stairs, filling hell's basin with spilling rainbow juice that melted time's brazen halls into sun pools of wishes optimally finding me, and I lighting in lightning veins of surrealist crepuscular crevices undone. Didactic trilogy unwoven, chapterless, triune heresy of pyramidal complex, apex coronating at zenith's trajectory, central fire lit by my glass eye, into my sight unite as a ring of power, expandable, infinitesimal, without ring I lit the incantation of the prime cantor. As my adventure wove twixt string and humming string, 2 banshees did emit a howl. The giants awoke at the anvil of the hearth. The bridge of the gods trembled. Heaven's raptors shook, hell's confines broke loose. It was then I met you, and remembering our antique acquaintance, could no longer fathom who or what or why or how it could be questioned. As I hovered motionless, 2 banshees did emit a howl. Distracting my reverie, to them my gaze was turned. Thus by dripping eye that reacheth not nor spiteth, I unveiled dichotomy, revealing 2 harmless cherubim, happily entwined without prejudice. Their newfound freedom so unshod my wit that the burden of identity, now lost to me, left me nameless. And numberless I was admitted unto the choir, and knowing that I know not, am granted a peace that passeth all understanding. Crumbs of flesh swept up in praise. The floor, bottomless, would have been, but that I now sight an oval crimson stain. The final drop of blood, my original sacrifice, a benchmark now redeemed, thus freed am I by all thought or pain, for now my feet need no longer hold up a floor which was no more. For in oblation I never was, now fathomless to thee, nor be nor do is who I am, essence in eternity. Drawn by 2 flaming dragons, the ecstasy-pulled chariot, where proud designated seat glides through chasms of flame-lit halls, scripture and honey doth melt from earthen walls, verses antique spilling liquid words, this is where death chamber meets the temple of dawn. This is where breath of crevice through gorge doth fume, where leaking, seeking river tastes the salt of sea. Oh, endless tunnel through the core of me. Oh, wax and honey doth melt upon fiery tongues of praise. Oh, balm of incorruptibility, verdure of fecundity, flanked in cream goblets of cherubim, flanked by succulent succor of seraphim, the dripping amber resin, baptismal juice of babes and kings. The lid of the well is open. The seal of the tomb is pride. Depth of churn is silenced by deafening moan. Timbers shudder seized by the moan of me. Oh, caverns rumble seized by the moan of me. Oceans heave plundered by the privilege. Gate of gods and gate of men, seamless merge. Oh, excruciating oneness. Ocean within me swells. Yet this time has ended, and the sea has no shores. Holy rapture fills my being. Song unto song doth endlessly sing, and I the fool without a name, for I wed myself this eve, and require a witness to take